Hi, this is Emma DiMaggio, Communications Manager for the Golden Rain Foundation, and you're listening to Leisure World Direct. I'm here with Executive Manager of Mutual Services, Dave Potter, and Executive Director, Jessica Sedgwick. Hello, guys.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Today's topic is the resident portal sync. First, can you briefly describe what a resident portal is for those who may not know or who have never used one, or maybe threw away the piece of paper that they received about it, which I think is a good amount of people.
Absolutely. So, a resident portal is kind of what the name implies. It is a portion on the internet that can be only accessed by the residents. You have to put in a login and a password in order to get access, and it gives you access to specific items. And in our case here, it's going to be access to mutual information and to Golden Rain information. That is meant just for those who live here in Leisure World.
When did the GRF make the decision to kind of lock up those kind of documents just for residents?
Well, GRF itself made the decision earlier this year before we launched our GRF portal. The mutuals have had the portal in place since last year, and it's been kind of an ongoing discussion with the mutuals on what they want to do with their documents. By now, everyone has pretty much made their decision, and most of those decisions were to put all of the documents and the agendas, policies into the resident portal, as really those documents are only intended for the people that live here.
Can you tell me a little bit about maybe the kind of documents that people would most commonly use from the resident portal?
Absolutely. So a lot of the documents that are in the portal, both the mutual and the GRF side that you're going to see, are kind of a couple different categories. One being the agendas for all of the board meetings. This is where you're going to find anything on what's going on with that board meeting, what's on that topic for either the mutual or for Golden Rain Foundation. You're also going to end up with the minutes for those meetings as well. So if you missed the meeting, weren't able to attend, want to know what happened, you'll be able to go into the resident portal and pull up the minutes from the meeting to find out what was decided on during those meetings. And then the other thing on there is a lot of the governing documents. So this is going to be the rules and regulations, the policies, the procedures that are put in place to help govern Leisure World. So you'll see that both on the Golden Rain Foundation side and the mutual side. And then we also do keep financial information on there as well. So there is a financial packet that's intended for the residents available within the portals as well.
And the financial packet has budgets or costs?
The financial packet does include the budget. That's the mailer that goes out. So basically, mailers that are given to the members, those are also going to be available to the membership on the portal.
What else is on the resident portal beyond documents? Or what kind of things can people do on it?
So there's a number of other things that people can do on the portal. So if you're looking in your mutual portal, you can actually see your account history. So you can see how your assessments, paying your assessments. You can actually make payments directly through the portal if you so choose. You can set up direct ACH payments through there if you'd like. Although if you do it through the portal, there is a small fee attached with that. You can also pay with credit card for your assessments. So if you opt to want to pay with a credit card or to pay with your checking account, you can do that directly through the portal. Some fees do apply. Those fees do not go back to the Golden Rain Foundation. Those go to the third-party site that manages the paying.
Yeah, those are pass-through fees.
Yes.
Those are being charged by the financial entities to Golden Rain Foundation, and rather than absorb them, Golden Rain Foundation is passing them on to, whoever is instigating the fee.
That makes sense.
Exactly. So you have the payment option. You can review your account on the mutual side. You can also view if you have any violations on your accounts, if you received any rules violations from your mutual. Same thing on the Golden Rain Foundation site. If you've received any violations from Golden Rain, you will actually be able to see that violation in your account. There are also a couple of options on the mutual side for seeing your permit history. So we just started this a couple of months ago. So if you have anything older for permits, it's not going to show up in your system. But moving forward, we're moving all of our permit process through Sync. And in that term means it'll show up in their resident portal. So they'll be able to see where their permit is at, what status is in, if it's been approved, if it's been denied. You'll be able to see that as well in the portal.
Can you distinguish for me really quickly? I know that we have two portals. We have Sync and Proptia. Can you distinguish between those two, just because in the last year, we have a lot of portals going on, so people might get confused or mesh the two together in their minds?
Absolutely. So yes, we've launched essentially two portals over the last year and a half. The first one we launched was Sync, which is the resident portal, and that has everything to do with your unit, the policies, the procedures, the things that we just discussed. The Proptia portal is actually our gate access portal. So I like to try to refer them as the resident portal and the gate access portal, because I think it's getting confusing referring it to the Sync portal and referring it to the Proptia portal. It doesn't inherently tell you which one is which. So if we say Sync is the resident portal, and then we have Proptia, which is your gate access portal. And so for the gate access portal, or Proptia, that is where you're going to be logging in and putting any guests that you want to come into the community. You're either adding your temporary guests that are only coming in for a day, or you're putting on your permanent guests that are going to be allowed to come in anytime with their pass, as long as they've come in for a year. So that is where that they are going to schedule those guests, and it has only to do with the gate system.
Makes sense. Is there anything else about the resident portal that you think would be important for people to understand?
It's a very good tool to use to find out things going on in the community, as far as especially with the governance of the community. So that your board meetings, your governing documents, especially on the Golden Rain Foundation side, you're going to have committee meeting information, those agendas and those minutes and summary reports. We also put on the recordings of the meetings that we do for Golden Rain Foundation, can also be found on the resident portal. So we do keep the live stream videos up on our website for 30 days, and once they come off of the public website, they go into the resident portal. So if someone wants something a little bit older, then they would look in the resident portal for those videos. So we keep a lot of that. We also have access to a lot of online forms. So we have put together certain online forms for residents to be able to fill out. These are our records request form. We are working on caretaker registration forms. We have pet registration forms. So if the resident doesn't have time, can't make it into the stock transfer office to submit these forms, they can actually submit them online with all of the documentation that we require. So we have that available on the Golden Rain Foundation portal. And one thing I want to talk about is, because there are essentially two portals within the resident portal, and every resident here has two accounts. You have your mutual account and you have your Golden Rain account. You only have one login for each of these. And so what you do is you switch between profiles in order to be able to access this. And I know that can get confusing with people who are not comfortable with technology. One thing I say is, which one you're in, because it'll either say your mutual at the top or it'll say Golden Rain at the top. Both of them are accessed through the same login, and you switch back and forth.
For people, touching on people who are not comfortable with technology, is there a place where people can go to kind of help navigate these portals?
Yes, definitely. We have started a technology orientation class that is typically the fourth Thursday of the month at 1 p.m. in the Learning Center, and the Learning Center is located in Clubhouse 3. And our wonderful IT team puts that on, helps people get registered, and then helps them navigate the resident portal. They'll also assist with the gate access portal as well. So again, that's usually the fourth Thursday of the month. Now, if it falls on a holiday, we will either cancel that class for that month or we will adjust it to another day. but typically the fourth Thursday of the month.
Okay. And I'll just let people know we are publishing that information in the newspaper, and the best place to RSVP is by emailing info@lwsb.com. All right. Anything else?
This has been my favorite episode yet.
All right. You're listening to Leisure World Direct.